Jeremy Young. We've got Jeremy Young with us today, Chief Commercial Officer of Transamerica Life Bermuda. Thank you, Jeremy, for joining us. And I hope you've had a good start to the year.
Indeed, the pleasure is mine, and it's been a really good start, actually. Combination of deliverables, so delivering some of the things that we want to, but also business has been pretty strong for the start of the year. This year being a weird one, certainly for the Asian markets, because we have Chinese New Year at the end of January. But we're very happy with the way things are going already.
That's great. That's excellent to hear. Plans for 2025? I know there are quite a few things that are in action and in motion. You've already put them together, and some exciting announcements that I hear are coming up. But how are you looking at 2025 panning out from the start of the year perspective going in?
2025, from our perspective, we will continue the momentum that we've been building over the last couple of years. It's sort of positioning ourselves back as a leader in the high net worth and large sums assured space. And this is through a combination of what we deliver, so the products that we have, accessibility. So we were operating, as you mentioned, exciting. We're opening up an office in the DIFC, which will give us a lot more local presence, and that's exciting. And then other changes, we have a new CEO. We're clearly a strategic asset within the Aegon Group, which is great. We're a unique part of the growth engine for that. So lots happening through the year as we evolve. There's changes in regulation happening. We're adapting to that. And that regulation is either in one of our primary markets. You could say Hong Kong's a primary market. We know there's going to be changes to product guidelines there, which is an opportunity. We also have all these changes in markets such as the UK with inheritance tax and taxation and insurance as a vehicle for catering for that is also massive. Changes in Latin American market also creating opportunities. So the old story, the changes can either be a threat or an opportunity, and we definitely look at them as opportunities.
One of the other changes that is there and that is under process and progress is the new logo and the brand refresh.
Yes.
Can you give us a little more insight into how you feel that will speak to the customers and clients across the different parts of the world and the region?
Yeah, it's a good question. We've got a old brand. We've got a long-standing brand. Our parents would probably be familiar with the brand, but it doesn't necessarily appeal to the next generation. It's a little bit dated. The look, the feel, and the language that we used was very traditional. And so the key focus for myself and the brand team and working closely with the Aegon, the global brand team, was how do we remain true to our heritage in our logo and our look and feel, but also reflect on the future and where we want to go. And so the look has been modernized, the color's been modernized, and the language has been modernized. And the images have gone from things such as vintage cars, Mont Blanc pens, to being more about family and multi-generational family. So that, I think that will appeal a lot more. It's also significantly more international in its look. We were very Asia-centric. We are now much more international company. Bermuda office that issues business makes up a significant part of our portfolio now, a very healthy part. So we want to make sure that we're true to that.
So it also sort of fits in and plays into the trends that we see with high net worth population being more mobile and going across different jurisdictions, families also being sort of multi-jurisdictional, if you will.
Absolutely. And you think, there are some very interesting and highly recommend keeping an eye on the Henley report. The Henley do great stuff on people migration. Yeah. And there's a real trend out of Latin America into Europe at the moment. Spain and Portugal, very appealing. There's the trend in the Asia regions moving around. So making sure that we're have an appealing positioning to those people as they move and have a versatile enough solution that works with them is very key.
Interesting. Picking up on that, are you looking at enhancing operational capabilities to be able to sort of serve the growing marketplace, especially in the region?
Absolutely. So in particularly for this region, and we kind of have a bit of a benefit because we have the operational capability in our Asian markets, and we have both Hong Kong and Singapore supporting. At the same time, we have our Bermuda operation, where we'll be expanding. So we're growing in Bermuda, we're growing in Singapore, we're growing in Hong Kong. New underwriting capability, leveraging technology to help make it easier to do business. So it could be 2 a.m. Someone might want to wake up and go, now, where are we at with that? And they will have access to being able to to know exactly what's happening and when it's happening. So we're investing in the technology in the engine room.
Yes.
And that's very, very important. We're investing in people and the capabilities that we have there. And we're investing in the greater proposition that we offer. So the product solutions that we have are one thing. The features around the product solutions that may not be specifically due to the numbers is another thing. And then the ways that we operate and how do we make it easy to do business. So a client can choose, I want to own it under this structure, A, B, C, or D. I want to have a policy from this location or from this location. We become a lot less location agnostic and more about finding a solution that suits what the client's trying to achieve.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And just sort of picking on that a little more, diving a little deeper, what would you say are the sort of the more common needs that you see across the high net worth segment? Are there certain priorities that you see that you've been structuring your solutions around to sort of address those?
Yeah, to a certain degree. So if we did a survey piece last year, we've chatted about this, and we can run a session on this because it's very interesting. And that survey tapped into different parts of the world. And we've always said one size doesn't fit all. Yeah. And we like to think that we want to be the leading local insurance company, which is globally aligned, locally relevant. And so if you think about an IUL or indexed universal life you can do one and hope that it fits everybody. But we know that the markets are different. They're becoming more diverse. Even though high net worth are more mobile, the locations they move into are becoming more diverse. So this is where the globally aligned, locally relevant comes into it. The survey gave us some very interesting insights. What are the main concerns that people have in the regions? What's the Hong Kong, North Asia, Singapore, Southeast Asia, Middle East, India, and Europe? And we can leverage those insights to help create solutions that are relevant. Yeah. So, and a good example is if we take into account the Middle East, Sharia law has a role to play. Trusts are not always trusted. Yeah. And so in the Prospera that we've rolled out a death benefit option that can drip feed the benefit and avoid the need for setting up an entity in order to manage that. Yeah. So that's taking into account some of this localization. The S&P Sharia 500 index is another example of identifying a need. There's a need for some Sharia solution, and this helps fill that gap.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, you've been quietly innovating, bringing in these solutions that come in from insights, whether from the ground or from partners. Are you looking at continuing this trend?
Absolutely.
So there are more surprises for us in store for the year?
Good surprises.
Good surprise.
And for us, to innovate is to take a leadership position in the market. We can just copy all the other competitors and then there's no differentiator. What's very important for us is not being an inside-out focused company, which is, here's what we want to do. Yep. Good luck trying to find a reason to sell it or provide it to your client. Instead, if you can use insights and use those insights to create relevant solutions, now it's outside in. And this is not just in the products that we provide. This is going to be in the way we operate, in the way we communicate. Really an evolution, and I call it an evolution because it never really stops. Correct. A revolution kind of reaches a point, and then eventually that revolution dies anyway. Evolution is about constantly innovating and advancing our business and bringing it on. And once again, having Adnan, who's joined us in the region, very conversant in the region, strengthening our partnerships such as ours. Now there's going to be innovation based on the input and the feedback that he's providing. Yeah. And that's, the Sharia index came from a couple of lunches that I had with distribution partners in Dubai. Yes. In conversations going, wow, it'd be great if we could have something that could at least cater for the clients that deem that to be important. And we did some brainstorming over a napkin at lunch. And, this is it. This is outside in. This is innovation based on insights.
And how is that solution faring? I mean, is there a good pickup? Are you seeing it being well received?
It's gaining momentum, and it's like anything. It's been a good, either people are taking it up or they're exploring it, or it's a good talking point. So the feedback we get from some of the banks and wealth managers we work with, which is, this is great because I have something I can offer the client. Now, they may decide to do something else. Sure. But the fact that it's available makes me feel good about we're at. And from a take-up perspective, interestingly enough, if you look at policy count, it's probably, certainly for this region, it's probably 15% of policy count. If you look at premium, it's probably about 35% of premium. So
that is
so we're getting bigger cases that are going through that using the Sharia index.
Yeah, so very interesting, and it certainly points to an appeal that is there within the space, especially in the region.
Yep.
And I'm assuming that with the FC office, there is an increased focus around both the UAE and the GCC or the Middle East region.
Yeah.
And do you see that becoming a greater part of the overall business? And how are you looking at that panning out?
Yeah, when we look at, when I look at Bermuda, so we received applications from residents of over 60 countries across all of our businesses.
Okay.
So we have our Hong Kong office, we have our Singapore office, and we have our Bermuda office, and they all cater for different markets. So applications from over 60 countries, with some key countries that make up a bigger percentage. Singapore makes up a bigger percentage, and Malaysia for the Singapore market. Hong Kong and mainland China and Taiwan make up a big chunk from Hong Kong. And for the Bermuda market, the biggest chunk comes from the UAE, which is diverse within itself. They happen to be a UAE resident, but they're actually a citizen of many different locations. And that's part of the amazing thing about the UAE is it's becoming very quickly a real international centre. And so we see not only we've had good growth, but we see that continuing and expanding as the local environment is being invested in locally as well.
Sure.
So,
makes sense. Slightly different track. I mean, there are a lot of knowledge pieces that you're putting out. There's information around the needs that the high net worth individual has. It's really interesting because that's the pathway that you've chosen to sort of go. How would you advise the wealth managers, the other broker partners to sort of approach it? You know, from a perspective of either the gaps that you see or the opportunities that are present.
That's a very broad question. How long have you got?
No.
And that's, once again, that's an ongoing process. So we did the succession planning survey through Asian Private Banker, 17, 18, 19. That was very localized, focused on Asia. The surveys we're now starting to do globally based, and that brings in interesting insights. How to approach, I think it's an ongoing development. How you see how the bankers use it, they find it very valuable. The survey we did this time was of the wealth managers on tell us what your clients think about this. That becomes very valuable insight because they also want to compare themselves against the others and they know what they put down and how is that the other one. So to me, it helps highlight gaps or needs that clients have. So now you've got a data-based discussion you're having with the client. Hey, we recently saw a survey and 60% of people, So we know that awareness has increased significantly.
Okay.
At the same time, 60% of people still say, well, but I don't know where to start and I'm too busy.
Yeah.
Which to me is a huge opportunity because I'm talking to an expert on the topic right now.
Yeah.
And there's viewers of this that are experts on the topic. So part of our objective behind the insights and the survey is to take away insurance being seen as a solution on its own.
Yeah.
Because it isn't. The insurance is the funding mechanism for the plan. During COVID, we had a big claim. We had a $75 million claim.
Mm-hmm.
The policy in itself was fine. Everything worked. The challenge was plan hadn't been either pleated or reviewed.
Oh,
and so you had, unfortunately, a claim that went to an estate. There was no will.
Okay.
So there was no designation given. There happened to be multiple parties claiming to be the rightful estate.
Okay.
And because there was no will, there was no guideline that we could go with. So that ended up getting quite messy because 75 million, when 3 different parties are claiming to be the rightful and recipient of that, you've got to dot your I's and cross your T's. Yeah. So the insurance is a funding mechanism for the plan and making sure that the plan is in place and has a review structure is well communicated, to me, is absolutely critical. And having experienced it in this business, but also firsthand, as an advisor and as a family member of an estate that had some issues.
That's very interesting. And
there's a long answer, but it's a complex topic.
No, of course. And I think, when I talk to some of the team members and some of our colleagues and partners, they do resonate with the content that is put out, because there is definitely a need for that kind of content that sort of points the way to the application and the solutions that, can be problems that can be solved essentially from using this.
And high net worth individuals are going to be much more likely to talk to you about, tell me about your business.
Yes.
Tell me what your succession plan is for your business. Or by the way, tell me about your estate. Then if you go and go, tell me about your estate, and by the way, I think you need insurance. That's a very confrontational approach. Asking about the business and what succession plan you have across your estate and managing all of that can become a much more open-ended question. People love talking about their business.
Yeah.
They don't like talking about their personal estate planning.
Do you see an opportunity in opening up towards the other regions, the Asian regions in India or in subcontinent? Is there an interest in that?
Definitely. And there's a lot of exciting things happening in India, obviously, with their own version of the DIFC.
Yeah.
Starting to open there now. We were a little bit restrictive on India in the past, and that was simply because of a group business that we had there and playing in each other's backyard. That's been cleared up automatically. So India will become for us a very targeted region. We actually do have Pakistan. We have the 3 main centres of Pakistan on our country list as well. So that making the generic and the master trust option available for India is going to be a big thing, and fly Dubai into Dubai as well.
Yeah. Finally, a message to either our advisors or partners that you'd like to share from Transamerica?
I guess the key thing is challenge yourself when thinking about what company product that you select. Take another look at Transamerica Life Bermuda. See where we've going, see where we've come from.
Yeah.
Aegon Group, over 180 years. So we've been around a long time. And take another look.
Yeah.
Chat to Adnan, chat to myself, and let's see how we can make solutions.
You did mention something about the capital reserves and something. Would you like to touch upon that?
Well, S&P Global do a lot of research, and we like independent research that they do. So, and they recently published, I'll send you the link so you can share it out, which is the top 50 global insurance companies based on capital reserves. And Aegon Group comes in at number 17 on the list, which is, from what I observe, the highest ranking of the international life insurers. So, as something, yes, we may be A+ versus AA, but there's a lot more to it than just your credit rating. That only measures one thing. You've also got to look at history. And
so one more reason to choose Transamerica.
Another reason to take another look at Transamerica, indeed.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure talking.
Yep.
And we keep the conversation going.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Cheers.